When the step back jumper is brought up in conversation, James Harden is probably the first player that comes to mind. Nobody has taken more of them in NBA history than him, and during his Houston Rockets days, it was everything that preceded the shot that drew oohs and ahs from crowds as far as the separation he would create with his unique movements and handles. Now obviously we're never going to see the Rockets version of Harden again, and perhaps we'll never see anyone quite replicate his playing style from that era. But what's going under the radar now is just how good he and the Clippers have been lately after struggling initially following the trade from Philadelphia. In his last 14 games, which goes back to November 17th, Harden has had a positive plus-minus in 10 of them, and during this span, he has the league's 15th best three-point percentage among the 98 players with at least 50 attempts. And it's once again the step-backs that he's making at a very good clip. For the season, he's shooting 40% on step-back threes, which is 7th best among the 25 players with at least 25 attempts. He's also been hot on his stationary catch-and-shoot three-point attempts, which as a prolific shot creator and playmaker during his Rockets, Nets, and Sixers days was not something we saw a lot from him. But with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George drawing so much attention, Harden has been the beneficiary of double teams getting thrown at them. So far, he's made 43.6% of his 39 attempts. "72% of his shot attempts have been self-created. To understand why that's significant, just last year with Philadelphia, 82% of his shot attempts were self-created. In his prime, it was usually in the mid-80s, with it peaking at 92% during the 2018-19 campaign, according to Second Spectrum. And because of the talent around him, he's now able to get more open looks. The average closest defender distance on his shots in general is 4.6 feet. Most of his career, it's been under 4 feet. As you probably would expect with his average shot distance being just under 18 feet, he's drawing fewer fouls. So far, he's drawn a shooting foul on 3% of his shot attempts. Just 2 years ago, it was 5.3%. Like last year, Harden's passing has been terrific. Since November 17th, his teammates are shooting 50.6% when the pass was delivered by him. That's the 4th best percentage in this time among players who have dished out at least 200 passes leading directly to shot attempts. Kawhi Leonard specifically is shooting 56% during this 14-game stretch when facilitated by Harden. One thing that really stands out to me is that for the first time in a long time, Harden is playing in a much more methodical and deliberate system. The Clippers do a lot of off-ball screening, which was not the case in Philadelphia. In fact, the Clippers are averaging 48 off-ball screens per 100 possessions with Harden on the floor. Last year with the Sixers, it was 27. Both George and Leonard get a lot of screens in the middle of the floor to seek isolation mid-range mismatches. There's also more driving to the basket around him. LA is averaging 54 drives per 100 possessions with Harden on the court. Last year, it was 44 in Philly. The Clippers are 11-3 in their last 14 games, and in this span, have the 5th best defensive rating. So that'll wrap up this video. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe.